In 1620, while the Mayflower was in Provincetown, 18 of its men sailed in a small shallop, searching for a place to live. They came to present-day Eastham, where they were met by a group of Nauset. After a brief but violent encounter, the English left towards today's Plymouth. In 2020, we remember this first encounter. We explore its meanings for today and tomorrow. Hello and welcome back to the Sunset Series. My name is Joanna Holleck and I'm the coordinator of the Sunset Series with Eastham 400. I'm here today with Alyssa Harris, and she is a member of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe and a recent graduate of Mashpee High School. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, Alyssa, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what daily life for a Wampanoag person would have traditionally been like. Maybe, could you start by telling us a little bit about the beginning of the day?
So work would start, it would be sunrise and sunset actually, because it's the coolest time of day. So that's when you would wake up. But the only people that did work were adults. Elders and children didn't have chores. But work is something that is considered leisure activities for people nowadays, such as weaving, pottery, gardening, hunting, stuff like that.
And so did people tend to start this work like pretty soon after they woke up?
Yeah, and then afterwards, all basically throughout the day, you would eat 6 or 7 times. So instead of having set meal times, you would just go about your day and then snack in between.
And what kind of food did people normally eat?
It was 80% fruits and vegetables. And then for meat, in spring, summer, and fall would be fish and shellfish. And then in the winter, that's the only time it would be big game animals.
And did people tend to eat like on their own because they were snacking just throughout the day, kind of whenever they were hungry, or were meals a communal thing where people ate with their families?
So it was more snacking. The reason why we sit together and eat nowadays is it's an English practice, because the English, they would spend their whole day working. So their time that they were eating is really the only time that they would spend with their family, whereas Wampanoag people, we were with our family all the time, so there was no need to sit down and eat with them.
And you mentioned that a lot of the things that the Wampanoag traditionally did for work are considered leisure nowadays. So did the Wampanoag traditionally have other activities that they did for leisure?
So a lot of the times it would be spending time with family. So Wampanoag people would travel up to 60 miles a day. They could go see family, because since it's a matriarchal society, you would live with the wife side of the family, but maybe you could go see the husband side.
When people were ready to get married or find a spouse, what was that process like?
So there weren't arranged marriages. It was if you fall in love with somebody. But the one thing is that it's the woman's decision whether she wants to marry a man, so the man does not decide, it's the woman. And then when they get married, actually, one of the processes of marriage was they would have to build a home together without arguing, but if they argued, then it doesn't work out. And then if it does work out, great. If not, if they decide to get a divorce, the woman then owns the home. So if she wants a divorce, she'll just leave the man's shoes outside and he has to leave.
And after getting a divorce, did people ever remarry?
Like if they wanted to, it's just whatever happens, happens. It's not really like, yeah, it's whatever you want, kind of like nowadays. It's not arranged or anything. But the other thing is that polygamy did exist, only within chiefs. So polygamy would happen if someone were homeless or disabled or widowed. So that's when a chief would marry several people, and the reason being was then they would have somebody to live with.
Did the roles or daily life for women and men vary a lot, or is it pretty similar?
There's no strict gender roles. There's, basically, if you're an adult, you have to know how to do everything to survive. So someone that's self-sufficient is what an adult is. It's not somebody that's 18. So yeah, there's no strict gender roles. So usually there's this stereotype of men do hunting, women do cooking, but not everyone is like that. So there could be some men that prefer cooking and some women that prefer hunting. So it's not frowned upon, whereas the English, they thought of that as weird. They thought that we were the devil because we switched roles.
And do you feel that today there's still more flexibility in gender roles in Wampanoag culture than in European culture?
It's more typical to see men hunting, women cooking, but I don't think it's looked at differently. It's just, I feel like people are used to that because we live in English culture nowadays. So that's what they're more used to.
And what about regarding like raising children? Did that tend to fall more like certain duties on one parent more than the other, or was that again dependent on the family and what people were interested in?
It's just adults and elders in general. There's not one person that may do more than others. I know elders definitely would tell a lot of stories, but then the mothers, they could kind of teach like how to make dolls or something. It's kind of whatever the parent wants.
So besides doing work in the morning, was there a schedule other than that?
No, it was really just whatever happens. So because because adults were self-sufficient, they didn't have to have a job. So for example, the English, if someone were a blacksmith, they may need to make something for somebody else by a set time, but because you're not on a schedule, you're not working for other people, you can just get whatever you want done whenever you feel like it. So it's not like by 9 o'clock you did one thing and then by 12 you did another. It's just whenever it happens. So time, it wasn't really that important. All there really was morning, afternoon, evening, and night.
And were there specific roles for anybody in the tribe, or was it more just that people did what they needed to do to be self-sufficient?
Kids, they were encouraged to play. Adults, besides the few hours of work they had, they just hung out. And then elders did not have chores. All they did was make all the decisions and take care of the children.
And did Wampanoag people tend to stay relatively healthy, or were there certain sicknesses that were common?
Here, all there was a cold. Other than that, there were no life-threatening diseases on this continent pre-contact before Europeans got here. More down south, though, there was syphilis, but the Spanish brought that. It was just several hundred years before. But people were outside a lot of the time, so because they weren't so close, it was less likely for them to even get a cold. And even with the cold, there were a lot of remedies for it. For example, we could have sumac tea. People get confused. There's two sumacs, one that's not poisonous, one that is. And the one that isn't poisonous has as much vitamin C as 5 blood oranges. So it's good for your immune system. But then you can have elderberry, which can help with a cough. So if you burn sweet fern or make it into tea, it can help with congestion. And if you boil the scent gland of a skunk into tea, it can help clear your sinuses. And skunk was actually a delicacy because they ate sweet things, so they tasted sweet. Now it wouldn't really taste as good because they eat trash.
Alyssa, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing all of your knowledge with us.
You're welcome.
My name is Joanna Holleck. Thank you for your support of the Sunset Series and Eastham 400. If you're interested in supporting Eastham 400 efforts by purchasing commemorative items, we do have several items for sale on our website, eastham400.org. We are selling gold foil First Encounter ornaments, t-shirts with the Eastham 400 logo, and montages made by a local artist. The ornaments feature an image of the shallop and come with a special description card. The t-shirts are available in light blue, navy, and ash gray, and in sizes adult small through 3XL. The montage depicts watercolor images of important historic and well-known landmarks around the town of Eastham. Each of these items are $20. Thank you.